I've started many game projects, from simple prototypes to near complete projects in themselves. Today, I wanted to step back and take a look at some of my projects, and hopefully by sharing these today, together we can find out why it's so easy for me to lose motivation. If you like what you see here today, please subscribe. I know it's cliche, but I'd love game development to become a full-time job for me, and one of the ways you can help do that is by supporting me in my channel. Oh, and most of the time I'll be showing footage from the game project, but there's a chance I don't have enough footage, so I may show some other games gameplay. It'll be apparent in the bottom left what game I'm showing. After the release of Iron Lung Instinct, I've been lost looking for the next project I can show you guys. The next project I can make to really impress you all, and honestly, it felt like I peaked with Iron Lung. I kept starting projects and stopping projects, feeling like I could never keep up with the expectations that were possibly growing for me, and with every passing day, it felt like this anticipation just continued to boil. If you don't know what Iron Lung Instinct is, finish this video, and at the end there will be a link to it. Anyway, let's get on with these projects. Real Quiet is a project that was made for the Toxic Terror Game Jam. The Game Jam's theme was Sit and Survive, which was awesome because I'm a big fan of games like Five Nights at Freddy's. My want, though, when approaching games is that I always want to make a game that has systems built on systems. Five Nights at Freddy's was clearly the reason the Jam theme was Sit and Survive, but I wanted to take it further than that. I'm a big fan of roguelikes, but sometimes those can be a little samey, but my buddy Ryan had a great idea. He told me he wanted to see my take on a fishing game. I'm unsure why, but Ryan is super into fishing games. Probably not the games in themselves, but generally I'd assume he's into the fishing games that aren't part of the full game. Like, you're not really meant to be fishing, but you can. Sadly though, I kinda had to go all out for my fishing game. My goal for this project was to create a fishing game with depth. You'd have your traditional fishing mechanics, but there'd be horror to it. I had this vision of this giant, wandering lighthouse. So while fishing on the water, you'd always have to be wary where you were or where you were going. Eventually, the project conceptually got out of hand. I was dreaming of these large systems, and scope creep got the better of me. Eventually, I had to scrap a lot. I think it was literally a day prior I had to implement the shop system because I was adding too much over the past month. In no way this project is polished. My playtesters often reported that it crashed a lot and the core systems weren't interesting enough to keep them engaged. However, I love the atmosphere of this project. Just by looking around, you can feel what I was going for. Megalophobia is one of those fears that just really get to me. Climbing the Sanctuary was one of those projects I made in like a week. I had an idea for a prototype for a climbing game that I could tie into one of my existing worlds. The concept was simple. It'd be a climbing game, and that's it. Not really like a horror climbing game, White Knuckle has that covered, but the idea that the climbing would just be puzzle-based, timing-based, or just overall challenging. I made a whole progression system, what you'd see on each level, the tower, the kinds of threats you'd face, and I made and finished this first level in under 3 days. But when I had my playtesters play it, they found it frustrating. Not frustrating in the sense of a rage game, like getting over it or chained together, but like their controls weren't responsive, like the climbing felt too loose. The project was scrapped a couple days later, overall just due to the fact that it was a prototype, just so I could learn something new. Something to note about these projects, while I do start a good amount of them for a reason, sometimes it is just because I had an idea and wanted to see how well I could execute upon it. Don't get too dissatisfied by my cancellation of projects. It really is that some projects are made to fail. For some reason last month I was on a big Majora's Mask binge. I had played the game when I was younger, and my obsession with it tends to come in waves. I really liked the game, and the idea was to make something to show my love for it. Since Majora's Mask probably wasn't getting a remake anytime soon, come on Nintendo, the goal was to see what I could do if I attempted a remake. So I got to work creating this simple Deku Link prototype. It's cute, and I like its art style. I went for this painterly aesthetic, and I think it really makes the color pop. To be fair, people tend to like Majora's Mask for its more muted color tones and its less bright visuals. It also proved that remaking Clock Town was quite the feat. My goal wasn't to remake all of Majora's Mask, it was primarily just to recreate Clock Town and add a few side quests in there. When that proved too challenging, I wanted to see if I could do it with a more small-scale aesthetic. I created this visual representation of what I would be going for using the Link's Awakening Game Boy art style. This looked really nice. I actually fucked with this a lot. But then I had another idea. I've always been obsessed with Zelda 1, but not in the way you may think. I'm not obsessed with Zelda 1 because I like it, but because it's a small-scale open-world game. Such an interesting packaged concept. There's so much to explore in such a small area. The game is condensed to a point that everything in it is deliberate and important. My only problem is that it's so old to a point that to me, it's unplayable. Mostly because the context in which it existed city is gone. It was initially created with the express purpose of being played with friends. Like, you'd find a secret and then go tell your friends on the playground. Then, over the course of months to a year, you'd slowly beat it as a team. Anyway, this project started with the pitch of being a multiplayer Zelda 1 remake, in the same vein as Four Swords. You and up to 3 of your friends could venture across the world of Hyrule together, fighting monsters, doing quests. This one actually got pretty far along. All the bones are here, the graphics are present, all interactions are baked in. I just lost motivation when I started making this top right section of the map. Not that this project will be fully abandoned, I see myself coming back to this one as a passion project from time to time, though I want to reuse this code for some kind of Zelda procedurally generated game, like a massive open world with enemies and quests to complete, but procedural. I don't know. This one doesn't have much, but I feel like the visual identity alone is enough to show it off. This game was meant to be a wave shooter. You're on a train approaching something called the Scourge. It's like a dark fountain from Undertale. The idea behind this project and why I was so excited to create it is because it was something I'd never made before. I'd always wanted to make a wave shooter or something players could master that slowly gets harder and harder, and that was the goal here. Through fighting waves upon waves of monsters, you'd slowly get better and better gear at shops and nearby stops. You'd have to manage your health wisely as the game was meant to be super challenging. You'd only have 3 lives to make it to 99 waves before arriving at the Scourge and doing the big boss fight. As you can see, I never got past making even one enemy. It proved difficult to make something satisfying yet challenging all in a first-person perspective. I probably could have done it, it's been done before, but I just didn't have the time or the patience to do it. I didn't have the skill I wanted to make the enemies I wanted. Cypress Tower. This will be our last game we cover today, but this was my first attempt at a cozy game. This game will not be forgotten. Some games I list here today are games I want to fully finish one day, and this one is no exception. If you want, you can actually go play this game for yourself. Its pre-alpha exists on itch.io. I've linked that in the description. The idea behind this game was to make a cozy Firewatchman Tower survival game. I've always loved the aesthetic of the Firewatch Tower, and the idea was to create a game where you could really make that your own. I wanted players to customize and do missions and feed their fish, all just to survive and play this cute little cozy game. It's not that I ever stopped working on this game. I finished it, it's done, but I want to revisit it one day. Every day the map procedurally generates a new forest for you to go to explore. I really like the ideas behind this one, and I want to explore these again someday. I think the finished project wouldn't be nearly as close to the one that's actually currently playable. Honestly, I'm hesitant to call it a pre-alpha, and I may just call it a prototype, just a proof of concept to show what it's trying to do. Going into this video for most of these projects, I thought I just lost motivation. Looking back, I don't think that's true. Most of these games died for completely different reasons. Some were experiments, some got too ambitious, some taught me skills I didn't have yet, and a few I still fully intend to finish someday. Every one of these projects taught me something. Without Real Quiet, there is an Iron Lung instinct. Without Climbing the Sanctuary, I never would have learned systems behind movement. Without the Zelda remakes, I never would have understood level design the way I do now. Maybe unfinished projects aren't failures. Maybe they're just steps towards the game you're gonna finally finish. Well, that's the end of the video. If you liked what you saw here, please leave a comment below. If any of these projects really spoke to you, I'd like to hear which ones you'd want me to pursue further. Iron Lung Instinct wasn't my first game, but it created a new expectation for myself that I wasn't proud of. I wanted to show these to you guys today, just so you can get a glimpse into why it takes me so long to upload. I want you to know that I'm not trying to start and stop out of malice. I just have stupidly high expectations for myself. These aren't all my games. In fact, this is just a small fraction of the games I've made. I'd love to show more off one day. If you liked the video, I'd urge you to give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Great things are coming. Have a great night.